Britain's rental market is at breaking point.
I have 2 children. I'm living in what is like a crack den.
With not enough homes to go round,
no one should be allowed to live like this. This is unacceptable.
This is our home. This ain't his land.
soaring rents.
I'm going to have to mortgage my pension to pay this debt off.
Put a hell of a strain on me. You still have to kill a person. Oh my God.
Squalid conditions.
I'm going to have to climb over the settee with my shoes off.
This could be criminal negligence.
Spiralling property scams.
I'll see you in court.
You guys ain't meant to be here, so we have a problem.
From bedsits to mansions.
Hello, enforcement agent.
From squats to drug farms.
They have been growing cannabis.
This is Nightmare Tenants.
Get your hands off me, dog. No. Do not put your hands on me, right? We're not stand for that.
Slum Landlords. There are an estimated 170 evictions across Britain every day, and the number is rising. Most are down to rent arrears, but it's often antisocial behaviour too.
Wiganers look at you as if you're mad when you ask for a muffin.
They call it a balm cake.
Yeah, because a muffin is a bun.
Yeah.
Karen O'Connor and Gemma Painter from Lobster Lettings have started proceedings against a tenant whose behaviour is causing serious problems.
He's been complaining constantly about tenants that live above him, and we've unfortunately lost about 5 tenants in the last 3 years.
Every single tenant that has lived upstairs has named him as the problem. One gentleman said that if he had a shower or put his washing machine on after 7 p.m, he used to bang on the ceiling with a broom and shout obscene things through the door.
He's made their life miserable, and the landlord is unfortunately losing money. Every time a tenant leaves, they have to pay us to find a new tenant for them. It's just not viable.
If he's in, I would imagine the door opens before we get there.
I would have thought so too. There he is.
The tenant lives in a ground floor flat conversion, and Karen and Gemma manage the flat above too.
So, can you tell me what's been happening? We've received a number of complaints from you about tenants upstairs and things like that. Can you tell me what that's been all about, what's happened there?
Them tenants upstairs, immigration were chasing them. They were illegal into this country.
What made you think that?
They told me. They even told me
Who
all
told
their name.
you?
The people were shifting back to their own countries.
Right, okay. Immigration told you that they were illegal immigrants?
Yes, and they were being sent back to Poland.
His phone calls to the office about us housing illegal immigrants were coming on a daily basis. I told him on numerous occasions that as a company we have to check people's right to rent. So I was 100% confident that we were not housing an illegal immigrant and they had as much right to be in the country in that property as he did.
They weren't illegal immigrants. They're originally born in Romania.
What, them upstairs?
Yeah. The last tenant to move out said that his mother was racially abused on the stairs of the property.
He was being racist and abusive towards them. He was giving them a hard time when they were just quietly living in the apartment. They have UK driving licences.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Immigration had all the names in that. And the word Polish, not what you said.
Right, okay.
The tenant had a criminal record, but ourselves and the landlord gave him a new start in a new property. Given he'd had a checkered past himself, you would think that he would be more tolerant and more accepting of people, but that wasn't the case. This is the 5th tenant that's moved out now because you've been abusive to them.
Been abusive? Yeah. I spend more time at hospital than nurse practitioners that we've been this morning.
And the gentleman before that who vacated due to you being abusive over the time that he had a shower and the time he did his washing machine.
You are joking me.
Unfortunately, because of the complaints that we keep receiving from yourself, the tenants keep moving out because they feel as though they're being abused by yourself.
If you believe all them, I will bring immigration in, and immigration will tell you straight.
So the last tenant that's left didn't have any immigration issues because we've rehoused him in a different property without issue.
Immigration came and said there were Polish upstairs. No, immigration won't make a mistake.
All right. Well, unfortunately, because of the number of complaints that we've received and the number of tenants that have moved out as a result of the abuse that they said that they're receiving, yeah.
I've had a stroke, I can't hardly talk.
We know you can talk because you've rang us a number of times to complain about the tenants upstairs being immigrants. So the landlord has asked us to serve notice on you to gain possession of this property.
Suit yourself.
It's never a nice thing to have to do. You're ultimately saying, we are evicting you. We want you to leave this property.
Not as bad as I thought, actually. He's took it pretty well, to be honest. I don't think he's actually surprised.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thanks very much.
At least I can get somewhere where there's no bloody noise. I tell you.
He said he understood that the notice was served and what it meant. We've recommended that he takes legal advice anyway, like we always would. And hopefully he'll leave voluntarily.
He's not in the best of health, so I can't see why he wouldn't be rehomed.
No.
It'd be better for him, and better for the landlord and all round, really.
As Karen and Gemma leave, a neighbour and friend of the tenant comes forward in his defence.
He's never in the flat all day over.
Well, he's there enough to make complaints to us.
Oh, no.
Why should he if he's not done no harm?
He has. The landlord's lost 5 different tenants over the space of 3 years. It's cost him a fortune because the tenants keep leaving and they're all citing that he's the problem.
It's bloody ridiculous.
I spent 15 years.
We can only do what the landlord wants us to do, and the landlord has asked us to serve notice because he can't afford to keep losing tenants upstairs. I think the best thing for you, though, is if you had a bungalow of your own where you didn't have an upstairs neighbour, you would be much happier. If you speak to your social worker and ask them to contact us if they need any more information. All right. Understandably, she's concerned about a neighbour, but she won't understand the circumstances and she won't know the history. He's not pleasant when he describes the people upstairs. The words that he chooses to use are not pleasant. The notice has been served. Whether he actually moves out or not is a different story.
Hello, what's the place?
Next.
Funny how they do, isn't it?
In Darwen.
It's my house, so I can leave.
Shenanigans going on in there now.
Yeah, it's a mess.
And in Wigan.
That's quite vile. I don't even want to know what's in this toilet. It's in such a state. They have no self-respect.
For the first time since the 2008 financial crisis, Britain's buy-to-let boom is faltering. With rising taxes and hassles with tenants, owning a rental property is no longer the surefire way to make money it once was. One of East Lancashire's largest agents, Ainsworth Lord Estates, lets out and manages properties on behalf of hundreds of local landlords.
I got a new landlord.
Oh yeah.
Fully managed.
Co-owner Deborah Ainsworth Lord has been approached by a landlord of a 3-bedroom house who is at her wit's end with her tenant, a tenant that Paul has had run-ins with before.
Now, this girl had rented from us before, and she were a bag of trouble then. And I'm going back 6, 7 years. But you always remember the names of the bad ones.
She paid her rent.
Yeah,
she's a garbage cow, I know
she's
that.
3 months paid, now she's starting saying the house is a wreck. She's refused to let the gas engineer in.
The tenant is complaining repairs are needed at the property, but the landlord says she won't let contractors in to do the work.
So we agreed to take it on, but we wanted to do an inspection to see what exactly we were taking on.
So Paul has made an appointment with the tenant to check out the property's condition. His assessor Connor and landlord Louise meet him at the address.
It became apparent that I think she was wanting to be evicted because she's looking for a council property.
Right, Connor, we'll just give her a knock, see if she's in. Is your mum in? I'm gonna wait for a bit, see if your mum comes back. Okay. And these 2 little kids answer the door. Proper little kids. Primary school kids. I'm thinking, you're too young to be left on your own. So I think we just wait for a bit.
Yeah.
See if she's stringing us along or what. The irony of it all is we're here to do an inspection and we end up being babysitters.
This is what she does all the time. She brings people around and then just doesn't let them in.
Messes everybody
And she
about.
knows the system. She probably knows you can't get in with kids there.
An hour passes, and there is no sign of the tenant. Concerned the young children have been left home alone, Paul calls the police.
I've got a family of my own, and I certainly wouldn't be leaving my small and young children on their own, especially for that length of time and until that time of night.
We'll hang fire till someone gets here then.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll get it out to you.
Thanks very much. Well, I think we did the right thing.
Well, she agreed with you.
Whilst we're waiting for the police, you know, this guy comes walking along the street, rather inebriated.
Can you come back tomorrow, please?
Well, that's why we're wrong about to get here tonight.
Oh, mate, you must be able to come back when you can. She's in a bad way at the minute.
The man claims to be the tenant's partner.
He's coming close to me, sort of whispering to me, and I'm thinking, he sounds like he just tipped out of a brewery. She said she was picking kids up, and then she'd be home at 7:15.
Yeah, it's not going to happen today, though.
Another 40 minutes go by, and the police arrive.
You got a kid? Yeah. Hello? Hello? Hello, it's the police. Hello? Mate? Any kids up there? No. There's no kids down here.
They were definitely here. Because when... Because he said...
He's not come out, have they?
Connor's been watching the house. Connor, did they come out?
I've not seen anyone come out. I've been right there for the last hour and 45.
The back door's locked from the inside.
I mean, to this day, we don't know how them kids ended up out the house. We can only assume somebody took them out the back door. Don't know who. Remains a mystery to this day. Funny how they do, isn't it?
10 minutes after the police arrive, and another man turns up.
Oh, what are they doing in there?
Do you live here, do you, mate?
No.
No. Do you know who does?
A girl.
How do you know her? I'm just wondering if you can help me out, that's all.
With what?
Where the kids are.
She's got them with her.
Where?
Up the road somewhere at my house.
The man claims the children are with the tenant at another address.
Were you in before with the kids?
Was I in here before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here with the kids, yeah.
Just step inside, I'll have a quick chat with you.
Hey up.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right, fantastic. You got a warrant? Don't need a warrant.
There's shenanigans going on in there now.
Finally, the tenant turns up.
Excuse me, it's my house, so I can leave.
They'd clearly been having a drinking session somewhere because they all stunk a drink.
I just want to make sure my kids are all right. Like,
I know,
you
yeah.
come into my house and make some right. Right, all 4 of you, come here. So when have they been on their own?
Right.
Since from when?
Let me
Right, come on. They're the old ones, these are the young ones. Right, these are the other two. Right, just go in there. Just go in there.
Go in there and I'll sit down with my friend in there.
It'd be nice.
Thank you very much.
No.
And all I could think was, them poor little kids. They're saying to coppers that she were in Bath. She weren't in Bath.
With conflicting stories, untangling the truth is proving to be tricky. The children were definitely at the house when Paul knocked several hours earlier, but officers can't be certain that they were alone.
There possibly could have been an adult upstairs. However, we're never going to get to the bottom of that. But the kids are safe and well, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to do whatever you need to do.
Well, I don't think we're going to do that, obviously, tonight. Some days you've got to be a social worker, got to be a psychologist, a mind reader. There's no end to the different job titles we've got. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we weren't sure what to do, really.
No, it's fine. It's important.
It's now too late to inspect the property, so Paul and landlord Louise will need to return another time. What's clear is that dealing with her tenant is going to be anything but straightforward. Two months since letting agents Karen and Gemma served notice on an abusive tenant, they're visiting to see if he has moved out.
He was in there for a number of years.
It cost the landlord
5
relet fees, basically. Every time we had to find a new tenant, we would charge to find that new tenant.
The tenant's flat was newly refurbished when he moved in just under 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a mess.
It stinks.
Of cat wee.
Cat wee, yeah. Litter tray, but not necessarily in a tray.
Because he'd had a cat, you could smell. It was like a cat litter smell, which wasn't very pleasant. And it wasn't clean.
The tenant left slightly earlier than he should have left without paying his last month's rent, which is not uncommon because they tend to use the money to fund their new properties. People don't realise that the costs now to tip and get rid of rubbish, with councils being like they are, it costs a fortune. So they just leave everything that they don't want for someone else to shift.
I don't even want to know what's in this toilet, but there is a huge blockage. That's quite vile.
I'm partial to a good toilet. I like a nice, clean, sparkling one with a nice blue block in it, but that wasn't to be.
Why do people leave places in such a state? They have no self-respect. It makes me laugh, you know, you always find in these dumps that they've got loads of cleaning products and they never use them, ever.
Oh, there's mouse droppings.
Oh, gross. It's not surprising though, really, is it? This place is filthy. You'll probably find that he's gone to the council and claimed that he can't do any of this himself, and they've just physically moved him and bought him all new stuff. So he doesn't need to take his bed and his settee and his cupboards.
From what I can gather, his mattress in his fridge freezer is probably the only thing that I can judge that has actually gone. There was literally coats still on the coat rack and food in the cupboards, and it was a lot of stuff left.
Well, this needs some work before we can start doing viewings here. Yep. It's a massive cost, isn't it, just to be able to re-let it?
Yeah.
For the landlord, as well as the cost of reletting the flat above several times, he's also had to write off £742 in rent arrears, plus the cost of any redecorating.
It's very annoying.
It's going to be at least 12 months worth of rent.
Yeah.
To put it back to the condition.
Yeah. Should we go?
Yes.
It takes 4 weeks and £1,000 to clear and refurbish the flat. Karen and Gemma have a new tenant lined up to move in.
As always, landlord foots the bill for everything, unfortunately. It's a difficult industry to make money in, really, as a landlord, because everything's against you.
Hello. Oh my God. Wow.
Next.
Linda, how can someone live like this?
In Luton.
This is what he's hoarded over 14 years of living here.
There's nothing wrong with Gate, really, is there?
In Darwen.
She's not paying rent. She's running amok. And it stops. It stops now.
Hello, who are you, please?
And in Blackpool.
Broken window here. This is disgusting.
For many small landlords, their rental income is a lifeline. If a tenant stops paying, their finances and life can be thrown into turmoil. Landlord Action's Paul Champlina is helping Linda Lampert and her husband Barry, an old friend. They're in the process of evicting their tenant, who is £2,500 in arrears.
Oh, hi. What's going on with the weather? You all right? Is Barry in?
Yes, come in.
Yeah, thank you. God, I can't believe how bad the weather is. There's Barry!
Hello.
How are you?
Well, thank you.
I haven't seen you for ages. How are you? You're looking really well.
Yeah,
you okay?
Yeah,
You're still drinking out your West Ham cup? I thought you were going to be a Spurs fan by now. No, that's never going to happen, is it?
3.5 years ago, my husband had a massive stroke, which has left him disabled and with brain damage. Because of his disability, he cannot work. And when a tenant does not pay their rent, it has a massive impact on us, because I rely on the rental income to pay for his care.
Barry, do you remember the times we used to play football?
Yeah.
We used to have a laugh, didn't we?
Yes.
Do you know how many times he used to kick me? He used to jump on my back.
Yes.
He used to go, Lambert's ball!
Yes.
Linda's had to deal with so much stress because of the Barry situation, and this has just added to it.
The tenant has been living in their bedsit for 14 years, and as well as not paying the rent, has become increasingly difficult. Now, after 10 months of legal wrangling and 5 court appearances, he's due to be evicted by enforcement officers. But Linda fears it won't be plain sailing.
I've had many years. He just calls me 3, 4, 5 in the morning, complaining about the other tenants in the adjoining bedsits, and he's in rent arrears. I have to hide it all from my husband. I have to make out that everything is okay. I can't afford for him to see me stressed, or for him to suffer any stress or anxiety. God forbid, he could have another stroke.
How are you? How are you feeling? You
Bit anxious.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Long time coming. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous, a bit shaky.
Listen, don't worry, I'm here in the sense that I'm hoping this is it. I've been doing this a long time. I used to be a bailiff in a former life. Now, when there's months and months of court cases, I think, oh, God, bloody hell, it's going to kick off. So you have to prepare yourself for that. And that's why it can be a little bit scary at times.
Hello. Hello.
There's no one in there, is there?
No, there's
no one in here.
Wow. Oh my God. Go on.
I do not take pleasure in evicting a tenant, but how can I help a man like this? What can I do?
Linda, how can someone live like this? He sleeps here and he walks through here like this little bit here.
Well, he's actually cleared quite a lot of stuff. It was
Really?
worse than this. Yeah, the last time I was here, it literally
Wow.
touched the ceiling.
I don't know how he slept in the room, and I don't know how he cooked. I asked him on numerous occasions to clear his room, and he kept promising, and then he went into rent arrears. I've had enough.
This is what he's hoarded over 14 years of living here. We've come across, over the years, quite a few hoarders. They can end up endangering themselves, but also it's a nightmare for a landlord, because if something happens to that tenant in your property, the landlord's liable.
It looks like the tenant has already left, but Paul needs to ensure he can't get back in, so the locks need to be changed.
Where's my son? Right, so we now have possession. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't want to spend the night here, do you? Okay, fair enough. Take care, have a good day. Bye. We had the property back, which was great, but what we had to now do was speak to the tenant and say, where are you? What are you going to do about picking your stuff up? The nightmare is almost over, and I say almost over because you've got to get rid of this gear. Have you got his number?
Yeah.
Can I call him? Because the problem is, you know, it's someone's belongings. We don't know if it's belongings, rubbish or whatever.
By law, Linda has to give the tenant at least 3 weeks to collect his possessions.
No, there's no answer.
Before getting rid of anything.
He might turn around and say to me, no, get rid, which means there's another expense to you. You've got to skip it. I don't envy you the work you've got to do here to, you know, to try and clear it, but you knew it was going to happen. But it's never ending for a landlord, is it?
Never ending, relentless. To be honest, Paul, since Barry had the stroke, nothing phases me anymore.
As they're leaving, the evicted tenant returns Paul's call.
Are you going to pick all the rest of the stuff up? What do you mean it's unfair? Please listen to me for 1 second. Please. Okay, are you going to let me talk now? Are you going to let me? I've heard what you've got to say. You're going to let me talk. You need to collect your items or they'll be disposed of. Not listening to me.
No, but I've had this for like 14 years.
Blimey. Yes, no, I understand the section. We're fine. I was just put the phone down on me.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah, fine. He said that he's been rehoused. He's somewhere else in Luton.
Good.
Right,
Pleased to
which is
hear.
good that
Yeah,
he's got
that is good.
But he's going to need that stuff. So it doesn't end here.
Yeah. I don't understand why.
Even though I have possession of my property, I still cannot rent it out because I have his possessions in the property.
Linda has already lost nearly £3,000 in unpaid rent. She won't be able to rent the bedsit out again until it's cleared and refurbished, costing yet more money. It's been 6 weeks since Paul took over the management of this 3-bedroom house from landlord Louise Price. Her tenant, a mother of 2 small children, has been withholding rent, claiming the essential repairs haven't been carried out. Last time Paul and Louise tried to inspect the property, the tenant was out and appeared to have left her kids home alone.
Hey David, you alright?
This time they're joined by lawyer David Watson and Paul's builder, who will help check whether the tenant's claims of disrepair are genuine.
So you've already met them. She's not paying rent, she's running amok. Tail's wagging the dog, and it stops now. He's managed to get in by the looks of it. There's nothing wrong with the gate, really, is there?
One of the tenant's claims was that the back gate needed to be repaired.
Nothing wrong with it. Just wants a bit of shaving off, doesn't it?
2 other complaints were about carpentry work.
The door needs hanging. That was one of the jobs.
Oh.
That was on.
Then there was a floorboard near the front door. Yeah. Do you know Oh, it's here. They're not reasons to withhold rent. These are all minor issues. You know, okay, a bit of a broken floorboard. These things happen. It's no big deal. It's not exactly a hazard.
I tried my best just to fix everything that she requested, so including the back gate. She said there was no bins. I was happy to order new bins. She just never let up on me at all. I can only assume, she's never said anything, but I can only assume that it's due to the fact that she wanted a bigger council house.
I think the local authority will be unsympathetic. The reasons that she's presented are not defects, and in either event that doesn't give her an entitlement not to pay rent. It's not a valid excuse with me, it won't be a valid excuse with the court, and it won't be a valid excuse with the local authority.
Based on the lawyer's guidance, Paul and Louise can now serve an eviction notice.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, and you. And Louise can sleep better tonight, knowing that the job's moving forward.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot for that, David. See you. Well, I'm quite happy with that.
Don't really want to be writing the money off. I would prefer to catch up on the rent arrears, but I think reality says that I probably wouldn't get it. But I think if we get another decent tenant in and we get the rent, then just onwards and upwards. It's the risk you take with rental properties.
4 months later, the tenant is more than £2,000 in arrears, and Louise has applied to the courts to start eviction proceedings. Blackpool has some of the worst rates of deprivation and substance abuse in the UK. Letting agent John Bartram manages 450 properties in the area. Many of his tenants are living close to the edge.
In a sense then, we're a middleman, because we've got to try and find the decent people out there who we think will pay their rent, who we think will be a decent tenant.
Not always easy, especially when you're looking after flats in a rundown area. One of John's tenants is causing problems for her neighbours.
We inherited this tenant, and I think she'd had a drugs problem, theft, and police always there, and door kicked in on a couple of times. I think possibly she was mixing with the wrong crowds. And it's a typical Blackpool issue where people get involved in drugs and they don't realise what it's causing to the general environment around them.
2 months ago, John served the tenant with an eviction notice. And then 5 days ago, he applied to the courts for a possession order. Today, he's going back to inspect the property.
Oh, the door's open. Hello? First impressions, they have gone. Hello? John from JJ Properties? Who are you, please? You've got no rights to be here. Who this guy was, I don't know. I personally think that this was the person who was in the drug scene, who was renowned to her, and she was allowing him to stop at the premises.
Down the road, she'll be back in about 15-20 minutes.
She'll be back in about 15-20 minutes. Let me just have a look. All the broken window here. I can see, yeah, broken window here as well. All rubbish been chucked out of the window onto the roof. This is disgusting. Contact us, please, regarding criminal damage to the windows here.
Hey, mate, I will say something. I don't know what's going on with the landlord, but at the end of the day, I know for a fact for a year or two, she ain't had no hot water or nothing. Look at the state of the place.
The state of the place is like this because last time contractors came into the building, there was people injecting in front of them.
Yeah, but you can't, that's people that are just walking into the house. You can't blame for that.
The maintenance team had been, there was somebody shooting up in the flat while they was on site, and again they refused to go back while people living in there and having to work in that environment. We've now applied to the courts, of course, for a possession order. We're just waiting for the date back. I've come in here, looking at it, thinking the property was empty, and someone like, sorry, what was your name? Asleep on the settee.
John.
Your name's John, is it?
Yeah.
And so's mine. My other name's Bartram. What's yours?
Just John.
Just John, is it? OK, John. What's your address that you live at, John?
It's just round the corner.
It's just round the corner. So why are you sleeping here at the moment?
I just dozed off.
You just dozed off. OK, well, yeah. Thank you for... OK, thank you.
If the judge grants the possession order, he can evict her and refurbish the flat ready for a new tenant. Next.
Can't believe so much stuff can fit in one room.
In Luton.
It's cost me circa £10,000.
I think somebody's been using the sink as a toilet.
And in Blackpool.
Needles all over the floor, heroin usage down there. On the behalf of a landlord, I feel absolutely awful.
It's been 2 months since letting agent John Bartram served notice on a tenant with a drugs problem who's trashed her flat. By now, she should have left.
That was yesterday, so we're just going down to the property to see if anybody's still there or not. You don't know what you're going to find, so nothing surprises me. Front door open, of course. Let's see what we're confronted with. Hello? Well, I don't want to go too far in here. As we can see, needles all over the floor, all damaging plasterwork. On the behalf of a landlord, I feel absolutely awful. People can do what they want, when they want, seem to just be able to get away with it, and there's no reprisals whatsoever. I think that is a bed. Broken window. It's just shocking, yeah, like you say, that, and people can just walk away and let somebody else pick up the pieces. I'm lost for words as normal. Well, I mean, people take some things, but look there, it's a sign that's been ripped down from outside a fish and chip shop. Oh yeah, there's all signs of heroin usage down there. I think we can say that this isn't now lived in.
Before the landlord can start work on renovating the flat, it will need to be cleared.
I'm worried about the contractors coming in with all the needles. I'll possibly have to, at an extra expense of course, speak to a specialist contractor to clear all the drugs paraphernalia before my contractors come in, knowing it's safe for them to work.
Barry and Linda have evicted their hoarder tenant. Although he's gone, they still need to clear out all his things. And that involves 2 trucks and 3 removal men.
So today's the day, finally, that we get to clear the room. I think I've been more than fair. He said he's not well, he's housebound. So I offered to take his stuff round to him, but he hasn't responded. So he had up until midnight last night, and that's it.
Looks like just DVD. Oh yeah, that is full of DVDs.
Maybe I can sell some of the DVDs, take them to a boot sale on Sunday. These look new. I might keep these.
Linda is entitled to sell and use the money to pay towards the cost of clearing the stuff.
Overall, with loss of rental income, legal fees, and for the cost for the removal guys to clear his room, it's cost me circa £10,000. Not all landlords are rolling in it at all. Makes me a living, but not a fantastic living. It is a living. You know, sometimes it can be quite a big burden. I think a lot of people don't realise that.
After 4 hours solid work,
I can't believe how so much stuff can fit in one room.
the bedsit that's been filled from floor to ceiling with possessions for 14 years is clear.
Nice to see the walls. Crazy, isn't it? I'm so excited.
What's interesting is that as a hoarder, he collected stuff for 14 years, and then after 14 years, he didn't even want any of it.
Oh, what a relief.
A week since the eviction notice expired on a tenant with a drug habit, letting agent John Bartram has cleared the flat of rubbish. Now he needs to ascertain how much building work is needed before he can rent it out again.
This is the first time I'll have been back since contractors have been in and removed all the needles and I believe most of the old furniture and stuff. Doesn't smell the best. Well, at least we can see the floor now. I say broken window. I see they haven't removed the rubbish that has been chucked out the window onto the roof. I think somebody's been using the sink as a toilet. Broken kitchen unit. Broken oven door. Everything's trashed. It's got to go back to basics. Yeah, you've got pity on the landlord. Damage here to Georgian wired glass. All the blinds damaged in the bedroom here. I would say, you know, there was a good £4,000 worth of damage. That's a year's rent for a landlord in a premises like this, a year's rent. He's got to replace the kitchen, he's got to replace the vinyl, he's got to replace all the carpets, he's got to replace all the decor, and that's without even thinking about going into the bathroom and the cost in there. It's got to be a complete refurbishment to this flat.
There's no chance John and the landlord can get the tenant to pay the cost of refurbishing the flat.
We've heard nothing from the tenant at all, so we have not got a clue where this person's gone.